Welcome to the High School Huddle. My name is Brandon Chatmon. I'm joined by Ryan Aber. He's the lead prep writer for the Oklahoman here on the Dodge Sports Desk. High school football begins tomorrow with Southmore's first ever game and the Norman-North rivalry getting underway. Ryan, first off, let's talk about the preseason. Who were the most impressive teams and players you saw during fall camp?
Well, no surprise here. Jenks and Union, both of those teams were the most impressive. I saw Union, just the depth that they have all across the board, especially on the offensive line, is phenomenal. Jenks, more on the defensive side, the way that they were just able to completely shut down a pretty good Edmond Santa Fe run game. They're both going to be dominant again this year.
All right, the real games get underway this week, so that means it's prediction time. Ryan, first off, give me your state champions class by class.
Well, we'll start off in 6A. I think Tulsa Union, just because of that depth that I just talked about, I think that they're going to outlast Jenks for a title again. 5A, I look at a team like Guthrie, the way that they've really come back after losing Kai Staley and some other guys that were key pieces of that championship team last year. They've got Josh King. They've got Keaton Collins, who is ready to be a full-time quarterback. They've got the complete picture. 4A, Glenpool, really good running back Marco Nelson that we'll find out a lot about this year is going to be a junior, put up big numbers as a sophomore. I think they're going to beat out McGinnis probably for the title there. 3A, I think it's Clinton's year again. We always say that it's going to be Clinton and Huddle right up there at the top. I think Clinton has a little bit more to get it done. Big lineman and as always, solid run game. Typical Clinton football. Going down to 2A, I think this is the year for Heritage Hall. Turner Peterson moves over to quarterback after playing some receiver last year. I think that their biggest key for them is the fact that Cassia Hall is not in their class anymore. They don't have to deal with them. So I think that clears the way for Heritage Hall. In Class A, I think it's O'Keene again. Just more of the same for them. They're sort of like the Clinton of the smaller schools. Just seem to churn out athletes and to fit in Wardlaw's system. Class B could be probably the most intriguing here just because we don't have a Morrison to talk about that we've talked about for so many years. They're up to Class A. There's a lot of teams who could contend. I would have said Pond Creek Hunter probably a few weeks ago before they had a guy move out, a star player. So I'm going to go with Laverne there, but there are 4 or 5 teams probably that have pretty good shots, which is something we haven't said in a long time in that class. In Class C, we go back to same old Shattuck. Until somebody beats them, they're number 1.
All right, Ryan. Now that we have some teams to kind of keep an eye on, give me your offensive player of the year.
Well, the offensive player of the year for me is a kid from a team we've already talked about, Tulsa Union, Jeremy Smith, the running back. Really impressed with him when I saw him last week. I think that their offense sort of revolves around him. He's going to get big numbers, a lot of carries with the new quarterback there, but they're going to be able to pass the ball to take some pressure off of him. I think he's going to put up huge numbers and be our offensive player of the year when it's said and done.
That should make OSU fans happy since he has committed to the Cowboys already. Now, just kind of give me your defensive player of the year.
Defensive player of the year, going to stay in the city area for this one in Class 4A. McGinnis is Gabe Eichert. There's a lot of really good defensive players around here. Nathan Badger from Norman North among them. I think Eichert's going to have to put up huge numbers for McGinnis if they're going to reach the same level that they've been at the last couple of years because they're replacing 7 defensive starters. But I think that that's going to force Eichert maybe to make some plays that normally he would be able to rely on his teammates for.
All right. Well, kind of give me, lastly, a breakout player of the year.
Well, I look back up to the Tulsa area and another running back, Jacquez Washington. We had his brother King Jack Washington on our All-State team a couple years ago, put up big numbers for them. They've got 2 or 3 really big linemen, and anytime you're a really good running back running behind the lineman of that size, that Brandon Webb, another Oklahoma State commit, Gavin Howard, and a couple of those other guys, I think he's going to put up massive numbers as well.
So keep an eye on Jacquez out of Owasso. Lastly, give me your coach of the year.
Well, that's a hard one to pick before the year because usually you have a couple guys really overachieve. But I'm going to go with Ron Lancaster from Broken Arrow. I think that they've got the pieces in place with the linemen, with a really good quarterback. that they can make a run this year. I don't think they're going to be at the level of Jenks or Union competing for a 6A championship, but I think they could get to those neutral site games in the semifinals, and for that, that'll be a really good year for Broken Arrow.
All right, Ryan. Well, those are some pretty bold predictions. As always, we appreciate your expertise. Thanks for watching the High School Huddle. We'll be back next week here on the Dodge Sports Desk to wrap up Week 1 and preview Week 2.